Ron McCoy portraying Rob McCool, fictional fifth grade teacher. You may at first think you are being pulled into an episode of The Twilight Zone. No, this is a purely fictional presentation, and any resemblance between any of the characters and real-life people is purely coincidental. Yes, it's not The Twilight Zone, but it may seem that way. Hi, Rob McCool here, fifth grade teacher. I thought I was doing an excellent job, but on Friday, I received a most unusual email, one summoning me to the office to meet with my principal, Judy Hickenlooper, and the director of HR, Lisa Codface, and I am faced with concerns that have been brought forth. What could this be all about? Well, my students are getting ready to leave on a Friday afternoon, and I am getting ready to face my accusers. Here it comes. Principal Judy Hickenlooper met me at the door to the conference room. Inside, I could see Lisa Codface sitting at her laptop. Radiant smiles soon turned to ominous frowns. I introduced myself to Lisa Codface as the infamous Rob McCool. Little did I know I was more infamous than I thought. Actually, it was Judy Hickenlooper who began. A concern was brought to me, Mr. McCool, from our social worker, Darla Do-Nothing. She was concerned because you were very rigid. Two of your students have been going to Darla Do-Nothing, even though Darla Do-Nothing did not tell you about it, and it is your job to make sure that you keep track of where your students are going. It's still your fault because you questioned her about that. You also insisted that they be back in class at 12:42, which is when lunch is over. So she's right, you're wrong. She's the social worker. We don't question her judgment. We're not really sure what she's supposed to be doing, so we don't know enough to question her. So we know what you're supposed to be doing, so it's all your fault. I'm thinking, isn't it your job as principal to mediate among employees? If Darla Do-Nothing had come to you, why didn't you say to her, go to Mr. McCool, talk to him. If you don't get a resolution, then the three of us will sit down together and work out a resolution. But that's not what happened. Mr. McCool, I am detecting a pattern here, a pattern of, what is it? Rigidness. I hear that you make your students sit up in class rather than letting them put their heads down on their desks. Well, that is true, Dr. Codface. But I consulted with my ophthalmologist and she applauded me for helping students to sit up, encouraging them because it helps develop their spines. It is not your job to develop their spines. Mr. McCool, the things that you did 20 years ago in 2004, you cannot do in the year 2024. Rob's dear principal, Judy Hickenlooper, apparently decided that she already had a knife in Rob. She might as well twist it. Here come more details from Judy Hickenlooper. Rob, your team came to talk to us. We were told that because you are taking group restroom breaks, taking your students down to the restroom prior to going outside for recess, you are 2 to 3 minutes late to recess every single day. That is true, Judy. However, after lunch, because my lunch ends at 12:42, we do take another group restroom break, but my students have been going out to recess about 5 minutes early every day, which helps compensate for the loss of the 2 to 3 minutes that are missed in the morning. Group class restroom breaks? We don't do that anymore, Mr. McCool. That's something teachers stopped doing 20 years ago. What if a child needs to have a BM? Or what if a child doesn't need to go at that time? This is barbaric. This should never be happening. Most teachers at Freedom Maples Elementary School take class restroom breaks. That way it cuts down on the number of requests for restroom breaks in the afternoon when students should be writing and reading and working on math. Disclaimer time. Rob McCool is not perfect. He's been receiving letters of reprimand from the district. As a matter of fact, he's received so many he's begun to paper his computer room with them. And had he continued working for Freedom Public Schools, he was going to request that they be printed on blue to match the decor. Anyway, about 2 years ago, Rob McCool received one of these discipline letters because he talked to a parent about the possibility that her daughter would not qualify for SPED and that maybe this daughter would be better off working harder in class rather than pursuing an IEP. So he received a discipline letter for that. About 6 months later, he received a discipline letter because a student whom he had sent to the library during recess time for the student's protection sneaked out of the library, went and played football, got into a fight. Rob was supposed to be watching football, but Rob stepped away to play foursquare with a former student who was there on Take Your Child to Work Day. So he received a discipline letter for that. About 6 months ago, Rob received a discipline letter because he embarrassed a student in line because the student didn't understand why he was supposed to stand with Rob McCool. And Rob asked his class if they understood why the student was supposed to be standing next to Mr. McCool, and they raised their hands, and that embarrassed the student. Rob McCool also erred in not sending a student to the nurse or asking that that student be returned from the nurse because he already had a deal worked out with that student's parents where if he started exhibiting certain symptoms, that all he needed to do was get a drink. So Rob received a discipline letter for that as well. And there were more coming. There was starting to be an avalanche. Rob McCool is not perfect. Rob McCool suffers from too much passion, and that continued to be a problem. While Rob was on his way to visit his mother, who suffered a devastating stroke about 1 year and 8 months ago, he decided to call whom he thought he could trust, Judy Hickenlooper, and tell her that he might as well just resign. And of course, after that, he thought he could trust Judy Hickenlooper. He was wrong, and his night's sleep was truly horrible. I am a failure. They are targeting me. I have to resign. I've got to get away from Freedom Maples Elementary School. And that's exactly what Rob McCool decided to do. Along the way, though, there was much treachery, much backstabbing, and more. The details are coming in the next edition of The Misadventures of Rob McCool. Be sure you tune in. Yes, the best is yet to come.